Ready to bump it.
Ahoy, hoy, everybody's on. Hello. Welcome to the salon. I got a little distracted by Will before I clicked the button. Welcome everyone to the salon.
Go ahead and push the button.
Let me give everybody their places and
problematic gay alert.
Welcome. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
All right, bitches, go buy a hat and put it on and get ready to hold on to it because this one's going to be problematic.
Yeah. Grab your daddy dicks because we're going to be getting into it. We are exploring the celestial temple, just like those two were doing.
You're just dating my mom.
Oh, God.
Nurse Westlake and Lieutenant what was his name? I meant to look it up.
I think that was it.
Yeah. Lieutenant, I meant to look it up.
No, oh fuck.
Anyway, we're gonna get into it, but before we do, some fun announcements. A reminder, we have a website, salontrick.com. Go to it. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to it. We're on Spotify. Follow it. Speaking of following things, we are still reluctantly and for now on Twitter, but more importantly, we are on Blue Sky. And like everybody else, but I'm just going to take a little bit of credit. We are blowing up on Blue Sky. We have over 1,000 followers, and we thank you all. And of course, if you want to support us, we are also on Patreon. We've got a free community tier. We've got a fun bonus content poll up that anybody can participate in. And then if you want to throw a couple of dollars our way to help cover the cost of the salon, we would certainly appreciate it. The $2 level gets you listed at the end of our episodes, and the $5 gets you to see the bonus content that folks vote on. And this month, it'll either be The Chase, Tomorrow is Yesterday, Those Old Scientists, or The Motion Picture. And fun will now commence. Welcome. Tonight we are talking about Star Trek Lower Deck Season 5, sadly Episode 8. So there are just 2 more. It's a real bummer, but it was a fun episode today, and we are going to get into it. But before we can get into anything, we must first welcome yet another homosexual and, of course, set an intention.
Indeed, we must do all that. Yeah. Indeed, we must do all that shit. And in honor of Matt's late arrival and the Upper Deckers tonight, I would love to know if there were to be another crossover and we were to get another live action character out of Lower Decks. What Upper Decker would you like to see in live action, and where would you like to see them? And as always,
to Upper Deck. Just kidding.
And as always, I will start us off. Now I'm having second thoughts because I'm like, I should have made this way more inappropriate, given how the start that we're off to. But no, seriously, Shax DS9, like no brainer. Give me some Shax and some more. I would watch an entire episode of Shax and Kira sitting at Quark's chatting. Also, yes, possibly some Ransom in my quarters. I don't know. I'm just here for the faces. Krista, my dear.
I had a tough time. The first live action show that came to my mind was Section 31, which naturally led me to Giorgio, which naturally led me to who would be the 2 most ridiculous people to interact with her. So my second choice is T'Ana. I would love to see the 2 of them interacting, but I think for shits and giggles, and it would be endless sources of amusement for me. Kayshawn, I would love to see the Darmok dude in a conversation with Giorgio and having her just kind of dead stare like this motherfucker. This motherfucker. So that's who I'm going with.
Love it. Matt, you're late but not too late.
Sorry, had traffic. The subspace corridors were packed.
But enough about your panties. What's your answer to the
Yours
question?
weren't the only subspace corridors that were packed.
Wow.
I'm going to be coming back to this joke a lot tonight.
So many comments on that. My answer to this is kind of a dick answer, but at the same time, I want to see Dr. Miglimo. I want to see what he looks like in live action. I want to see how they translate that hyper cartoon character into I feel like, in SpongeBob when they had they went up on land and it was just this abrupt, just this sponge and that's all I'm picturing is he's just like this giant parrot. It's just, I would love to see that. And I know there's not really a semblance of reasoning behind that besides just pure entertainment. But let's also be very clear. That's what this entire episode was. Just pure chaos and entertainment.
Not unlike the salon.
True.
I'm sorry, I'm doing my best Miglimo right now. This is all I got. Benji, my dear.
I was just thinking I would love for Billups to show up on Disco because he's so earnest and he'd be butting shoulders with Stamets, who I think would just be enraged by him. But how can you be? Because he's so lovely. So yeah, I want to see a bitch fest between those two.
Will?
I think it would be really funny to see. I know we already had the Strange New Worlds crossover, but if we had Ransom show up to have to, because Jerry O'Connell is married to Rebecca Romaine, so to have them be in a scene with each other with him being a complete and utter tool bag, and then her having to be Una would be really funny. I just thought that would be a fun crossover to see them kind of play off each other in person, or have. I don't know, have Una show up in Lower Decks or something. It would be fun. But that would be my crossover.
And last but not least.
I love them all. The greenlit is if I were in charge. The one I'll add is Captain Freeman. I think seeing Dawn Lewis in live action would be super fun. She's a great voice actress, great actress. And I would just get her scatting on with Cisco on Deep Space Nine, get her to be an early call out of how Changeling plan is, and then gets replaced very quickly in Picard season 3, but not killed. It would be fun. And then being noted in the chat by the panelists, even Dr. Ta'ana live action would be fucking hilarious. Super fun. Great intention setter as always. So let's get into this episode a little bit more with our top thoughts. I will kick things off. I loved this episode. I've watched it a couple of times. It didn't hit right away. This was a rewatcher, and I started to see I enjoyed it, but then rewatching it, I got to see the brilliance of it. I think what bothered me initially was that this is the last season. This feels like a great episode for this part of a season in a season 5 of a 7 or 8 season run of a series, and it just bums me out that we're getting this cool information or this character development of these secondary characters who in any other show would be the primary characters, the whole shtick of Lower Decks. I just love it. I liked the character development that we got from these folks. Ransom isn't quite the dipshit that he pretends to be Dr. Ta'ana, while still a little one note, is like it's at least very consistent and fun and funny. And seeing her with Nurse Westlake was just chef's kiss. The captain had a lot of fun. I swear to God, these two are fucking. Like this is like there is an unsanctioned Starfleet sun swap with these two and some others on the crew. I am certain of it. And they are not related. They're just pretending to be related. Some people are into that. I am not one of them, but I don't yuck other people's yums. They have explored each other's wormhole. That is
Stepdad. I'm
Certainly.
stuck in a Jeffrey's tomb. Stepdad.
Yes. This episode was super fun. I loved the clickets. I also, like Captain Carol, was like, wait, we have met these before, and I don't remember where. I meant to look it up before we went live, but like they were somewhere. So I'm very Captain Freeman in this episode, where I'm like, what? Shax having his PTSD astral projection, fucking hilarious. Like what a fucking hilarious way to deep dive into some deep, heavy, depressing shit. Super fun. And yeah, Billups just being a doof. Nothing to report. Okay, bye. Will, your top thoughts?
That's it. No, I thought this episode was fun. I need to watch it again. Like some of the jokes, it moves pretty quick because there's so many like plot threads kind of weaving in and out. But it was nice to get a little bit of character from the rest of the crew, because it does feel like we, for some reason, this season, especially with the last episode, I feel like the lower deckers, not that they're running low on story, but it seems like their development is less chaotic. So now getting into the rest of the crew, who's kind of a disaster, is fun. So yeah, I thought it was fun. It was full of weird gags and bits with like the whole thing with Ta'ana not feeling pain, and then like that poor gay nurse having to like blast her with a fucking laser. It's just like, it was so weird. And I was like, like that point where the cricket shoots her and goes, that was set to stun. She goes, me too, bitch, and then jumps on. It was like, that's funny, but like, I don't know, the logic behind her being the chief medical officer of this ship and then not administering pain medication to people because she herself can't feel it is like, she's the worst doctor. She's like the Dr. Zoidberg of Star Trek. Like,
yeah, the willing suspension of disbelief on this show is at max.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's like, it's topped out. I can't think about it too much because I'm like, why would you be the doc anyway? But no, lots of fun bits. Like just the fact that the captain just goes to meetings all day to go watch like someone's fucking tuba recital, or like some fucking faggot's one-man show about their life. Like, come on. And that's so funny. Like the captain's life is so boring, like so silly, like really, really silly. But it's that birth thing was fucking, that was unexpected. Just like blood and tentacles. It was shocking. Anyway, but fun. It was fun. It did seem like it was kind of a loose collection of some ideas they had for people that they just kind of like slapped together in an episode where they're like, what about this character's like this, and blah blah blah. And like Billups being like randomly a very competent engineer, he's like, oh, I forgot I did that, like I had to jerry rig this. And like it's really fun. It was fun. It's just I don't know, it was just a fun little romp. It was a fun little romp, that's all. Benji.
Well, so I was saying,
Speak your truth, darling. Speak your truth.
Yeah,
Hold space.
Last week, I was like, the show's going off the air soon. I want them to do a parody of every kind of Star Trek episode that has ever been. And they just did it in one episode. They were, so I mean, firstly, like with the title, like they were clearly going for like the Upper Decks version of the TNG Lower Decks episode. It was also a little bit Data's Day. It was also a little bit Disaster. It was also like a little bit Genesis with the Barnes thing. It was a DS9 Occupation Flashback episode, and it was a Space Whale episode. We got it all. This is we're covered. Can't do it, Matt.
I wasn't sure if you were done or if you were just ruminating on the idea of all of these together.
Kind of both, but
He's
I
spent,
love
and
that,
Benji's
yeah.
like, and then I came, and then we're on here. Now we're on now.
And he's
So,
like, all right, now go. Yeah.
like,
So
I'm hard. Why aren't you?
So I want two things. First of all, I watched this with a guy I'm kind of talking to, and this is his, and he's seen Star Trek. Nothing's like, it's not that serious. But like,
You're
'cause
kind
I
of
was like, hey,
talking to. Does that mean that it's only like half sentences? Like they're just complete
There's the
thoughts?
kind of
It's like
talking.
a Tamar- it's like a
to is
Tamarian.
basically-
We're not talking about Star Trek now. We're talking about this.
yeah, no, and literally, it's not that serious.
Which
He's a-
one
he's a
of you
nice
Bottom,
guys
guy.
like?
whole
He's
gate
really
built
nice.
it. Yeah.
Who's the
It's appro-
Westlake?
It's
Matt
appropriately
went
coming
pro
up
left.
during a segment called Top Thoughts.
So your
Mm.
wormhole is talking.
Matt,
You're
holy
just
gate.
for the ride along.
He's
But no.
discovered your celestial temple.
You can too for $4.95 on OnlyFans. So anyway,
You're a
I
cam
He's
girl.
strong.
Cam girl.
he and I watched. We were hanging out and we both got drunk and high on First Contact, like when the 25th anniversary, whatever. Just
Sorry.
whenever, like a week ago, when First Contact had its anniversary. This is gone. He came over and we watched. He's like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Like it's been years. He's like in his 40s, so he's like, oh yeah, I remember watching this. Whatever. And so we watched that. And so tonight I was like, if you want to watch this before I do my show with my friends, like we can watch it. This was the most unhinged first episode to show someone of Lower Decks ever. Because he watched it and he's like, it was fun. I liked it. I can see it's a good show, but what was that? Like,
Wait,
what
are you just
happened?
hiding a top in your apartment right now? Is he just hanging
He
out?
left. No, he left. This was a while ago. Like, this was, and then we went to dinner after. But,
He came, he
like-
left. Moving on.
So you guys aren't talking. You're official. You're out of the talking phase. You're
he's
going
a
on
friend
dates.
that I'm hooking up
Okay.
with. That's like,
Okay,
that's
there
what I
we go.
said. It's not that serious.
Where are you registered?
Words mean things. That's all.
We're
Okay.
registered on christiansingles.com.
Finish your
God.
Anyway, I'm trying to. I'm not the one derailing this. Anyway, it was
Fair
a
enough.
massively chaotic episode, and it was just really entertaining to kind of see it through someone else's eyes that has not been watching Lower Decks this entire time. And so I will say that it was really fun. I loved all the little My Neighbor Totoro, or no, not even it was Princess Mononoke, the little bugs, like the Ohm, if anyone knows Studio Ghibli. Anyway. No, I'm fucking that up. It's not Princess Mononoke either. It's yeah, the Ohm. It doesn't matter. Those were my top thoughts. I'm gonna shut up now. Okay,
well, I'm still stuck on Matt. I loved this episode because it didn't really focus on the Lower Deckers. I love that they went with the Upper Deck guys. We never really get to see any. I like that they poked fun of the fact that nothing happens unless it involves either this crew or that crew or whatever, because that's a general workplace kind of argument. Like this place would fall apart if this didn't happen or we weren't here or blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was funny. I'm finding the energy of the Lower Deckers is so hyperactive that they're becoming emotionally exhausting for me. So the break of getting away from that and going into this was good, despite all of the chaos going on. I love the constant references to TNG because that's my jam and I get those jokes. I think it's funny that it seems in every episode they kind of down low insert some kind of reference to Sub Rosa or candles, which to me just makes me giggle. I love that we got to see what happens after Genesis, which is the Ensign comes back, but she has a unibrow. Like that's what she carries back from being a cave woman. And for me, I remember there was sometime in the past year and a half, we were making random, like, who would you be if you were on this show? And y'all said that I would be T'Ana, Dr. T'Ana. And I just want to say that it's accurate, number one, because of this episode. And number two, I felt fucking seen. I would speak like that every moment of every day if it was actually allowed, if I was in a cat suit, if I could rip someone's face off with claws of steel, I would talk like that all day long to anyone I encounter. But I am 116 pounds, so I can't really do that. But yeah, I'm ready for Bear. So
she's even light as a cat.
I thought it was hysterical. I couldn't stop laughing. Every other word was fucker, and then we doubled down with motherfucker, shit, bird, shut the fuck up, blah, blah. I was like, God, I love this. I love her.
I just really want Krista's voicemail. Like your cell phone needs to be, you've reached Krista's fucking voicemail. Like Captain's fucking log. Krista's fucking.
I don't even record one. I whatever the phone already has. It's like, that's what
okay. Well, now it needs to be Chief Medical Officer's fucking log.
Exactly. But yes, she is the character that makes me feel seen. Like, oh, and also the constant, the references with Ransom and like the beach stories. I'm telling you, this guy is a retired beach volleyball player. It's confirmed in this episode for me. So, but it made me laugh.
I love that Krista's headcanon is her Trek headcanon is that Ransom is a retired beach volleyball player. It might be my favorite thing. I agree with everything that everyone said up to this point. It's the beauty of going last. I just get to go, yeah, and move on. But there were two things that I just thought were some of the best jokes ever in Lower Decks / Star Trek. But before I get to those, Ransom actually being great at his job is a great gag. That he just sort of pretended to be asleep while the space cows instead of space whales ran around the ship destroying the place. And that was my attempt to stall while I tried to remember my favorite two jokes, and now I've forgotten them, so I'll have to remind you of them later when I remember again. And I blame Matt because he can't.
Because I what?
Because I can't.
Matt, can we have that as a banner?
I thought it was one.
We had one that was like dumb bitch Matt alert.
We could.
There it is.
It's still there.
It is.
Don't worry, it didn't go nowhere.
Didn't even collect dust.
Oh God. We're already delightfully off the rails. I love it. This is the best part of my week always. So thank you all for being part of it. And thank you to the audience for joining us. Tell your friends, get them to subscribe to this nonsense. Let's deep dive a little bit, going in no particular order, but no, we're going in an order. I did this on purpose. The order in which we see things happening in the A, B, C, D, and E stories of this episode. Starting with the A episode of Shax. Daddy Shax gets haunted by his past. May or may not be connected to his having died, but I love that he astral projects himself to fight himself through meditation and then just relives killing a bunch of Cardassians. One man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist, and he has been through it. Who has thoughts about Shax being haunted by his demons and wants to share them? Don't everybody throw up your hands at once. I see Krista's about to say something. Let's go to Krista and then Matt.
Rage. I just loved. He was. I it's exercising my unreconciled rage. He just says it. So this is what happened. He's fun. He's a sensitive marshmallow inside.
Matt.
I was just gonna say, the one comment that I loved the most was, Krista, you nailed it right on the head. Like, that was like his like very overly hyper actualized like therapy response of the whole thing on top of everything. I also have to say, this might be like a controversy. I thought it was like one of the weaker parts of it. I was like, it was thrown into this chaotic thing. And I feel like it could have been a more interesting, like, to explore it a little bit more, because it is such a big, deep, like, Kardashian. But I also, like, I go back and forth because it's like, yeah, it was really fun. And I'm glad that they touched on it and, like, made it deep in a really dumb, fun way. And it felt like, hey, we wanted to touch on this more, but we know we're canceled now. So here we go.
Right. But he all the other crew members, they all had somebody with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the object was to work together to try to figure it out, as it is with every episode. But he was alone with himself, by himself, which, I mean, really, if you look at that, that's fucking hysterically funny.
It is. I loved it. There was so much that happened in this episode that I was like, oh, okay. That's also like,
it was all over the place. I also just love that, like, it was very TNG for a senior officer to clearly be going through something, need to go to sick bay and be like, no, I just need to rest. I just need to meditate and I'll be fine. And like, no, bitch, something's happening. Fighting fascism. It's a full-time job, as we're all about to learn. Matt?
I was also going to say, I love that he had that during like the briefing, the quintessential, like, Troy has a meltdown in the middle of the morning briefing, like, thing that then leads and sparks off the rest of the day's antics. So the whole thing, we all have said it 1,000 times, but this is just such a good love letter to Star Trek, and also the biggest roast of all time.
Yes.
For every element of Star Trek.
I have it on in the background, and like the Upper Deckers little chant at the end of their meetings is so cute, so dumb, and I love it. I also love that Steve Stevens is both the captain and Ransom's assistant. I think that it's California class. We have to share one. Speaking of, let's talk about Ransom. Unless I don't want to cut anybody else off if they wanted to say something about Shax fighting demons. Going once, twice, 3 times a Kai. Here we go. Let's talk about Ransom. So we had beta shifters and delta shifters fighting just like they do with our former lower deckers, or our lower deckers former ensigns in the delta shift alpha shifter. Good, whatever. What do y'all think about Ransom? Somebody say something. I'm going on mute. Okay, bye.
Do you want me to just recite the entire Greek alphabet, because I feel like that's where we were going?
I like that he recognizes that, or maybe he doesn't recognize that people think he's a doofus. But he's like making it work for him. Like, I am, nobody respects me, but I'm going to make it work for me. It's kind of a weird reverse psychology that he's doing that you would not necessarily associate with him, because he is a fucking doofus, but apparently not a doofus. And now I'm confused. But I like that he's making it work for him.
Yeah, him being actually having a moment of like being a good first officer was shocking, where it's like, is this his like, oh, I act like an idiot so other people will like step up and do their job? Like, is that like it's a little like galaxy brained for someone in like a leadership role where it's like, oh, I'm deliberately bad at my job so other people become better at theirs, is kind of like you're always thought, oh, you should be a strong leader so everyone does, you bring people up, but he's just like, I'm gonna be shitty so other people do figure it out for themselves, which I don't know, that's really funny that's his approach as a first officer, is not to like, oh, I'm gonna rally everyone together, but I'm just gonna be a complete and utter like shitbag manager, and everyone's like, well, I guess we have to take care of it. It's like, when you work at Taco Bell and your manager got too high, so you all have to close, and you're like, well, I guess we have to figure this out. Like, it's like that sort of thing. It's like, oh, great, you got stuck with the shit manager at Taco Bell, and you're like, well, all right, I guess we have to figure this out. Like,
that's kind of been his thing the whole series, though, is like his personality is like broy and he's a doofus, but like at the end of the day, at the end of every episode, like he actually proves himself to be good at what he does. He's mostly a people person. He is a manager, and he sticks with people, and I don't think he's ever proven to be bad at his job. He's just super broy, and that's like it's hard to get your head around.
He's done this with Mariner a few times. Like there was the episode where he was like she was like working with him directly, and I remember there was a moment in one of the earlier seasons where they had a moment where it was like, oh, he was bad at he's actually very good at his job. So that it's cool. Well, it was fun to see again with a different group of people where it just wasn't Mariner, that he does this with everybody.
Well, and especially when he was in the cave, or not in the cave, the cage, that he was like acting douchey, and she's like, no, I have to do this, and he like stabbed her in the foot and is like, no, that was like season 1, I think, that came, and I loved him in this. I hated those lower deckers. It was too much infighting for me. It was like, talk about suspension of belief. Like, this whole episode was just like, you have to put a lot aside to accept. Like, you could not have a crew that was that antagonistic. And also, can we talk about, this is so nitpicky. So we have 2 of each different shifts working together. Who's not on shift that's working on a shift they're not on? Like, how is Delta shift and Beta shift, which aren't even adjacent shifts, working? Anyway, that was my only thing. I was like, but if you're
wasn't
two
Gamma
different
working?
shifts, what?
So wouldn't Gamma be on duty?
Well,
we don't know. We don't know how many shift rotations they have on the Cerritos.
But I mean, at any time,
at least 4.
One shift that was on.
Right.
I think it's like Will's favorite insert headcanon here. My thinking is just there's any number of things, right? But you're right. Like, almost every storyline, there's like, this is too much. But like I had that moment. It was like my willing suspension of disbelief was being challenged in this episode, but each of them ended up being so fun, I just stopped caring about that and just like let myself enjoy it. That particular one, I just think it was the assignment. It was, oh, these 2 beta shifters have more shuttle bay experience, so team them up with these assholes.
Now I have a question. Have I just been thinking of crew rotations incorrectly?
Yes.
Probably.
Am I getting it? Thank you, guys.
Or maybe,
speaking of an incompetent person that acts and makes sure, is it that like 3 shifts are on and 1 is off, and then it like rotates out who's on, or is it that 3 are off and 1 is on it each time?
No, I think 1 would be on, but that doesn't mean that others can't be working while that shift is on duty. Like, just because you're the alpha security chief doesn't mean if you're beta shift you can't be retrofitting a torpedo tube or some bullshit. But like, wasn't there a reference in the episode to how long they had been working trying to coax the space cows? I forgot what they were called. But I think there was a reference to the fact that they've been working an extremely long period, so it would make sense that people would start tripping over each other. But actually, does that count? Is that a?
That's
actually.
Did I just trigger a Ken actually?
I guess.
I mean, I don't have a banner for that right now, but
Don't you think that
Should.
the fact that they were
Blacker.
so egregiously argumentative is sort of a backhanded commentary about how much respect Ransom commands? Like he walks into a room and they're like, "Oh yeah, there he is."
Yeah,
And they,
For sure, yeah.
they just keep arguing.
They just keep going. Like fuck that guy. Also,
Which is literally what they said at the end.
exercise clears the mind, dude. The number of times I've heard that, I was just like, yeah, that's exactly it right there. That's the doofus that says shit like that to me. Mm-mm.
He knows what he's doing. There's a plan. He's a man with a plan.
I think
Or-
he's a guy that falls into it and then calls it his plan.
I think I give him slightly more credit than that.
That's because you're Canadian.
Isn't he?
And
Isn't
by
Jerry
virtue
O'Connell
of that, a
Canadian?
far better person.
Just automatically.
Automatically, you're a much better person.
Although, yeah, we don't know where Ransom is from, and yeah, I guess Jerry. I mean, he was on Canadian TV, so he must. I'm assuming has to be Canadian. We could never afford an American actor on a Canadian TV show.
You're also super xenophobic.
Yeah,
That was aggressive.
What?
I was a joke because Canadians are like the nicest people. So to like insinuate that they were super.
There's got to be something wrong.
yeah, it's that word. Yeah,
It's like when they always say that like the oh, this is going to limit our audience, but like all those Norwegian air, like Switzerland and Finland and Denmark, they're the happiest places on earth, and they're like hideously racist.
Yeah,
You've seen the shows.
It's the homogeny.
Those places though. Those people. The Midwest has nothing on their serial killers.
Who's watching us in Norway?
Dark shows.
I don't want to limit our reach. Okay, listen. We have.
I thought for sure.
All over
I'm
Globe.
apologizing.
we welcome our new Norwegian
Another
overlords.
one. Sorry about that.
I thought for sure that setup was like, oh god, he's gonna really say something,
yeah.
and then he's like,
Rachel's right. Ransom's from the moon.
oh,
He's from
yes.
the
My
moon.
apologies to Norwegia.
Oh wait, did they all lie?
also Switzer way.
To Haisha.
Getting in deep.
Speaking of, I can't figure it out. There is a segue here, and I've obviously already fucked it up. Let's just acknowledge that it's what I do.
You bought a Segway?
Those are great on
Speaking of-
sidewalks.
Thank you for taking my awkward moment and making it yours, Matt, because that was gross. Taking that back, let's talk about Billups. Billups had a fun moment being just an excellent engineer, being so good he forgot about shit that he fixed, or so bad that he forgot to note it in the logs, probably because his engineering logs are about his breakfast, and then nothing engineering, okay, bye. I thought this bit was super fun. I liked who he was paired with, and she got to have fun. His whole shtick is just doing dumb engineering things, like, if I die like this, I'll die happy. There's a bit of a Wrath of Khan moment in there without being too ham-fisted with it, like other Treks trying to conjure Wrath of Khan. That AI thing was hilarious. That it just came out of the LCARs. New nightmare fuel for sure. Thoughts on Billups and his plucky assistant?
I like that he has celiac. I had a bagel and it upset my
I
stomach.
mean, upset my tummy. Yeah.
That's the kind of real
He
world.
has a
thing
celiac
that
vibe.
Really enhances a character for me. He's literally shitting his pants right now as he's doing his log.
It kind of was weird to me because I always thought Billups was one of those ones that was like stupidly actually very good as an engineer. I thought that was his whole shtick. And then it was like, oh, is he not supposed to be very good that he just forgot? Like, it I thought it was funny. I loved the whole romp. Give me romping around with plasma inside of a ship. I love the subplot of it. But like, I thought he was supposed to like be actually very good as an engineer. He was just really weird and awkward.
My take is that he. Oh, sorry. My take is that he is really good. He's just disorganized. So like he doesn't take notes. He doesn't remember things, and it's because he doesn't put them in his log because his log is about his breakfast.
He has ADHD. Like Billups is the neurodivergent on this crew for sure.
I also
One of
love
several.
That it seemed like this was like something that happened multiple times. Like, because obviously the cadet at the end, and he was just like, "This is how I run engineering. Everything's a hair's breadth away from flying off the handles because I know that I can keep it together." I loved it. I thought it was really fun.
He needs a good assistant to keep him together.
Yeah.
I like the idea that all engineers want to die in a tube. That's the ideal way that engineers die, in a tube.
What?
Little Australian girl takes an axe and breaks it. Not today. Not on my watch.
We don't have time. 3 hits and it's open. He goes, "Oh, okay." That was really funny. He's like, "Oh." Like, "Oh." You already released all the coolant. That was so stupid. It was like, oh God.
And then he's banging the thing with a hammer. It's like, are you really? I mean, okay, good times. It was like that the Planet a couple episodes ago, where we're like doing the honeydew list. Here's a hammer and some duct tape. Fix the warp core.
But JP had a good point. Like, okay, what was that accent? Because it kept coming and going so much that I was like, is the actress trying to do this? Or you
just hate Kiwis. I thought she was from New Zealand.
Well, but it was like, it wasn't a consistent. It was like
something. Or maybe it was like a Liz Lemon version of doing South African. No, she'll be British. Anybody remember that joke?
You've already eliminated Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Now you're going. What are the Benelux countries next? Like now you're going after Australia.
The Kiwis, they're like.
Well, they're all prisoners anyway. That was a colony that we abandoned.
Wow. Next character.
Who's we?
We, the British. I'm like 100% British. I found out. So I mean,
well, that's your
fault. That's the problem.
So you're a racist.
My body count would say otherwise, but
oh. Well,
problematic gay alert.
Oh shit.
Joanne's comment. Welcome to. I'm not a colonizer. I just get colonized.
Wow.
I mean,
wow. That wormhole is open for business.
That's his fetish.
Free trade to the Gamma Quadrant. Am I right?
It's not a colony if conception never happened.
It's not a colony if you're not selected.
But there was a lot of destruction and maybe smallpox.
Thank you, Drama Dork, Australian.
Thank you.
Oh, back to the show.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, sorry, I got tired of talking about Matt's ass. It holds no interest in me.
You're the only one, apparently.
There's a narrow period of time in which it's remotely interesting.
Oh.
Drag her.
And it won't stretch to longer than that time.
Jesus. Oh, you meant the time window. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the salon, everyone.
We did put that disclaimer on at the beginning, right?
We're not talking about a children's show anymore, so no.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That was just for the Prodigy.
Yeah.
Just the character of T'Ana alone means this is not a children's show. Fuck!
Speaking of It's a great segue in talking about our pain doctor. I love Dr. Ta'ana. I know she like I said earlier, she's a little one note, but in this episode, what I loved about it was they took her cantankerousness and like gave a little bit of a reason, like, oh, she just has a very high pain threshold, and that's why she's such a cunt. And I love her for it. I loved her pain chart is feel good or other. And those are the only two options.
So is she the CEO of that insurance company then?
Oh.
She's not denying people's claims. She's just
no, the other one that's like not paying for anesthetic after.
That one. Good God.
You should have assumed that that's what he meant because he's Canadian. He's going to be nice about it. He's not going to go for the.
Oh, right.
Ooh, the real world allegory of Star Trek. This very unintended, certainly. But yeah, bullying works because that company retracted their plan to no longer cover anesthesia after a couple of hours.
Good.
Whether it was because of public outcry over that announcement or perhaps the CEO of another company being gunned down and shells of those bullets being found that said deny, dispose, and something else, which are common phrases in insurance companies to get away from providing the care that they are paid to cover.
I will say
also the shooter was hot.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what he looked like. There is this is where some dangerous stuff is happening. Remember after
it's not the actual death. It's the misconception that he's attractive.
Listen, that CEO did not file a sympathy prior authorization form with me, and so I don't have any. But I am seeing a parallel to the Boston Marathon bomber where people who were not connected to that got posted to social media and was like, oh, this is a person of interest, and everybody decided to like sleuth it. I am worried for that attractive young man who is being posted as a person of interest potentially not being that person. So I'm just saying,
well, the one thing I will say, the difference is
right. Wait, I don't even know.
he's gonna get a lot of letters in prison, I'll say that.
Yeah. And I just want to say the difference is that the people wanted to hunt down the Boston Marathon people. Everyone is on this guy's side. Everyone's like, hey, if you want a place to hide from the police, come crash on my couch. Like, good for you. Eat the rich. Good for fucking you. You went, you got Starbucks, you chatted with a few people, you got a breakfast burrito, you waited, and then you gunned him down, and then you got on the subway, you got on a bike, and you left. And like, good for you.
That man got on some anesthetic first.
Maybe he should have gone to, did he try going to an urgent care before they took him to the ER? Maybe he would have. No, fuck that guy.
America is a dark place right now, y'all.
As demonstrated by Matt's comments that do not represent everyone else's opinion.
Yes.
I speak only for myself.
It's going to be a rough couple of years, everybody.
You just did it by saying we, so don't do that.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of setting a dangerous precedent because once you it's rather vigilante, and once you go down that path, the path closes behind you. There is no way back from that. And while you may be celebrated for taking a stand and doing something that many people feel they want to do, ultimately the message is, people who presume that they're untouchable, as the CEO may have presumed he was of an untouchable class, I think many are going to find how touchable they are, and that's not going to be good for any of us. It may be momentarily satisfying, but overall, that's not going to be the thing we want to go with. And back to the show. So what I want to say about Ta'ana is what I liked about how she was getting her pain figured out. It was very like cartoon, comedic, and sort of harmless, like an anvil falling on Roadrunner's head. But when we got the clicker reveal, it was like disturbing gore. Like it was just completely opposite, where she's having like her insides rearranged, and it was like, oh, that's cute. It's like an anvil fell on her. Oh, it's just adorable. And then we've got the reveal where it was like, I was just kind of like, oh, that's really gross. And then the fertility class, we're like, oh, is it? And it just screamed. It was like right out of that snatch. Boom! It's all coming out. It's snakes. Am I alone in this? Did no one see the show? It was snakes.
No, I'm
two unrelated scenes.
I'm trying to get us off the serious shit about CEOs being murdered, for fuck's sake, people.
I'm excited.
Boy.
I'm excited because you made me remember the thing that I loved the most about this episode, and possibly all of Lower Decks, which was, I think it was Freeman saying, "I didn't realize you weren't human."
Oh yeah, that was really. I get that a lot, and then like bloody tentacles come out from behind a pad. It was so
like,
gross.
The subtle yet clearly not subtle dig at like how many times they've just like, we're not doing makeup this week. It's just a guy from a planet, like, and he looks like a person. Like, there's no makeup, there's no anything. TNG did it constantly, especially in the earlier years. TOS did it all the time. Like they're just from another planet, but they look human. That line was probably my only laugh out loud during this episode. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm not criticizing it. It was not my favorite, but that kind of wrecked me. And it was one of the two things that I was trying to remember earlier. So thanks, Krista.
Yep. No worries. Snakes.
And a good segue into
full of snakes. Let's
a good segue into the captain herself, going about a very boring day until the Clickets get involved. I loved every little tidbit, every little thing that Captain Freeman was seeing, getting her hair blown by the sousaphone. So fucking funny. Barnes still being slightly future cave-ified. Fucking hilarious. That the Star Trek Lower Decks version of Will, that faggot on stage, just doing his one-man show, hilarious. I love the "it's a life form" nonsense, and then all of the stuff with the Clickets, hilarious. And I finally looked it up because I could not remember. I know that we had seen them like Captain Freeman. I was like, wait, where have we seen them before? They look familiar. Season 1, the episode where they're all talking into the horn of truth and recounting another crazy story that all of them were somehow connected to. They were the race that they bought a map to the neutral zone from. And when she said thank you, they were like, well, fuck off. They don't like to be complimented. Delightful. Thoughts on Carol Freeman? Let's go to Matt first. I know she's your favorite.
That was actually what I was going to say. This entire episode just doubled down on how much I love Carol Freeman as a captain. It showed that she has the competency to take on, like, did you notice that, like, she was the one that was able to, like, dodge and weave and, like, get everything back in order. She kept her calm. She was like, this fucking shit. Like, it was so good. And she cares about her crew that she, like, wanted to, go to all those, whether or not she wanted to, like, she still went. And she was willing to prioritize spending time with her crew over even being with her husband. And Stevens even was, like, the one that had to go around to make sure that he was there because she knew that she would prioritize that over, like, her marriage. I just loved the entire thing. I love her. I thought it was hilarious. No notes for Carol Freeman.
Will, you noted the balloon.
Yeah, I noticed it in this. It's a life form was so funny. Like, that is so funny. Like, her bits. It's like where the the TNG episode with Picard where he's like going around and like he goes and like does things he doesn't want to do. He has to like engage with his crew, like that kind of. It's like, oh, I got invited to so and so's recital. Like, how many times is someone playing an instrument, or like someone has a poetry reading, or like, you know, like it just, and they have to sit there and like watch it because he was invited. Like, it just, the bureaucratic nature of being a captain of a starship isn't all, you know, shields up, fire phasers. It's a lot of you going around and like having a list of things you have to go see, or like someone's recital, or some faggots one man show. Just that thing is so that I felt seen. I also felt attacked. So, you know, there. I was like, oh great, because I always make a comment. I don't think if I lived in the Star Trek universe, that I don't think I would have been in Starfleet. Like, I don't think I would have joined. But like seeing him, I was like, well, shit. Now I guess there it is.
For the audience, Will is literally working on a play proposal right now.
Yeah, we're gonna play anyway. But yeah, so it's like, it's so stupid. I'm like, God, there it is. But no, it was funny. I like that there's like that sometimes when they show the kind of like that this is a job, like being in Starfleet is a job. It's just not a bunch like a family running on like a family vacation, or like solving a mystery like fucking Scooby-Doo and the gang. It's like, oh yeah, this is a job. They're literally in the Space Navy. It's like, yeah, like that's kind of what it is. But yeah, no, I love the bits with her, and then her little assistant doing something cute for her was cute too. But no, it was fun. It was good. It's a good episode. Also, I will say the Commodore, kind of hot.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband, hot in the suit. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
you can get it, Miss Carol Freeman. Get it.
Admiral Freeman, or
Admiral Freeman.
Admiral.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I didn't even like the whole series. I've been wondering if they were even still married, because they've never had a moment together. So I was like, hopefully at some time we'll get like a scene between them where there's some interaction. We finally got it. They were so sweet. I love that his name is Zoe, and they're a lovely couple. It's really nice, and they redid We'll Only Have Paris.
Paris.
The only thing missing
we'll
was
always have Paris.
the only thing missing was the tube player in the corner of that cafe.
Yeah. Yes, I guess they couldn't do two references to that in one season.
the vibes,
Why not?
Vibe tubes,
the vibe tubes.
or they could have Tallinn on the vibe tubes. That would have been great.
I liked that the guy that was doing the plays referenced Geordi and Ro wandering around on a different plane, as though it was like impactful enough that it like everybody in Starfleet knew it happened. These fuckers didn't fall through the floor. Like, it's impactful enough for everybody to know about it, but not for them to have figured out how they didn't fall through floors, or like couldn't walk through doors.
He also had his own little like Barkley moment where he was like, "My friends figured out what I'm doing on the holiday."
On the holiday,
no.
yeah. It's the fucking TNG references, man. They just kill me every time, and they're so genius and they're so friggin' obscure that you really realize what a nerd you are, because you're like, oh, that's the Barkley episode, and then you like, God help me, I'm a fucking nerd now.
The Trek Mary Kill podcast has a segment at the end of every episode review called "What part of this are they teaching at Starfleet Academy?" And I love the idea that the episode with Geordi and Ro becoming ghosts is now probably being taught at Starfleet Academy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And when he described the Oberth class ship he was on as a fun the Oberth class, the fun ships of the fleet. I'm like, an Oberth, bitch. Like, yeah, so funny.
Like, how do you
the
get down to
ships of the fleet?
How do you get down to the bottom? Never mind.
Same way that they do on the Cerritos.
That ship doesn't make sense.
There are slides. Okay, use your imagination.
Speaking of getting down to the bottom, though, I firmly believe that I would be arch nemesises with that twink, but also we would hook up all the time. Like, we would fucking hate each other in public, but we would just fuck, and he'd be like, I hate you, I'll see you tomorrow night.
I feel
do
like
also.
I will talk about some headcanon. I think that those two, if we're going to give a backstory, I'll fill this out. Those two actually hate each other. They dated briefly.
Yes.
They had a couple of bad dates. They hooked up, and then it was like, "You're being weird." And then he's like, "Whatever." Then
100%.
like, yeah. So they did date, but now they're nemesis. Like they hate
Yeah.
each other.
Right. They had to
1,000%
break up
correct.
over something pretty superficial. Like one didn't like to watch the other one eat spaghetti, like the way he didn't.
Yeah.
twirl
Oh,
it
but the
all
thing is,
something.
I bet-
It has to be something stupid.
and
What the ick was, yeah.
What they hate is that all the new members think that that's his dad, and he's like, "Fuck, that's not my dad. I dated him for like a minute, and he sucks." And like,
He's
it's
only a few
really
years older
defensive.
than me. He just looks a lot older. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. The twink is like 32, and he's like
39.
41. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like he's like not even that much older. He's not my dad. And
You guys
everyone's
have
like,
given
"But
us a
that
lot of
looks
thought.
I
mean, they've given it a lot of thought. Look
I'm
at
just
that.
reading the vibe.
It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
When you're the only gay in the village, what are you going to do? There's like, listen, I have thought about this. When you're on a ship of 1,000 people or less, how many gays could there possibly be?
Well, in the
know-
Cerritos, everyone is queer.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes, 1,000%.
I do love that Dr. Ta'ana has a sassy gay nurse who is like the only person who can actually talk back to her. Like she needs
Honey.
somebody like that. Yeah.
The second he said honey to her, I was like, oh,
Oh yeah. We've seen him before. I don't think he's spoken though, right? They've mentioned Nurse Westlake.
I think he's had one line somewhere randomly, but yeah, he was in
Okay.
the pilot.
Okay.
I think it's funny that she's wearing underwear because she's a cat.
Well, she's been naked a few times.
But cats have
Yeah,
a lot of
usually-
nipples, so why only the ones here? There should be a bunch.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just saying it's not like
Cats
she's
have,
got
like, 8
bags.
nipples.
Why does she even need the bottom?
Yeah, usually the animal
It's
characters
like,
don't wear
it's not
pants.
as
so-
though somebody hasn't seen cat ass.
But she's a Cation, not a cat.
All right, sorry.
I need more nipples.
Winnie the
I
Pooh on
need
the
more
show.
nipples. More nipples.
That is Trevor's actually of the evening.
Oh, shit, that's my second one.
Actually, she's not a cat. She's a Cation.
That's my
I don't know why
second-
I'm doing that voice for you. I'm sorry. That was
was
not-
Guys, she's not a cat. She's a Cation.
It's not your best Trevor impression, but yeah, sorry, I'm just doing it in Ken's absence.
Someone always picks up the mantle. Ken's not here, and
motherfucker.
I'd actually too when he wasn't here one time.
Yes, you
It,
did.
We all
it,
do.
pa-
He
it
actually,
passes around.
you know how Loxana Troy, when she goes through her menopause, she projects her horniness. He projects his actually on everyone else when he's not here.
Sorry, are you suggesting that Ken's in menopause?
Well, he is.
I think he's well past it, actually.
I'm sending a recording this to him right now.
Oh my god.
It's fine. It's not like he's gonna watch this.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's
You
true. He
bitches
doesn't
don't
watch us.
the salon when you're not on it. I know that. It's fine. I'm not bitter.
I watch it when I am on it.
We just need a little break
Who's
from you when
talking
we can get
I
it.
watch it only when I'm.
Are you talking to them?
As racist right now.
Oh, you're talking to them.
Prejudiced against menopausal women
And xenophobic.
and xenophobic. Fuck, y'all need to go live with Benji just to be better people.
I think
You make him worse.
Listen,
That's probably
I
what
love
happened.
Benji, but
The salon has
let's not
made me
give the
so much
Canadians
worse.
too much credit. Like, there's some indigenous folks up in Canada that would like to have a word about how polite they actually are.
Canadian.
In Canada,
We're just going with that. We're not gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
literally, I had somebody ask me if I needed a passport to go to Vermont. That's how fucking stupid. That's
Well,
how fucking
Technically,
stupid.
you're in Louisiana, so maybe.
No, I was in Florida
soon.
at the time. It's
Same.
almost the same thing.
Same.
Final thoughts on this lovely episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. Upper deckers, lower deckers.
I like the upper deckers. The lower deckers are emotionally exhausting to me, as most young people are.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know you felt that way about me.
It's
I'm
true.
exhausting.
It's true. I'm 20 years older than all of you.
Not all of us.
Well, that's true. I need Donatella's plastic surgeon. Actually, I would need her money first.
Give it a few years. It always hits us late. We're gonna go get it done. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the Lindsay Lohan.
You're
It
gonna.
looks stunning.
She looks good.
Just-
And you know what's really great about that is that she like overindulged for years, and she has enough jack to turn around and erase it, to do the full Keith Richards and erase the whole
Mhm.
thing.
Whoever her plastic surgeon is that just reset her to factory settings is just absolutely
Factory settings.
insane.
Yeah.
It's probably like the subject of the botched movie. It's like a 2-hour
hope.
feature. Just
Yeah.
just
Anyway,
Will,
episode was
final
cute,
thoughts.
fun. It was cute, fun.
Benji, final
cute
thoughts.
fun. My final
Matt,
thought is
final thought. Oh, you have another.
I have a
I thought you were
thought.
just gonna repeat it. I was
Right.
like, all right.
I think I'm part click it because I don't take praise very well, and I'm a weirdo.
Same.
That's my final thought.
Do you also crawl out of a humanoid body every once in a while?
Sometimes.
I love that for you.
Do you wear a skin suit?
Don't we
He's
all?
a top, Krista. He's saying he's a top.
I don't understand your fucking slang. And
I didn't either, Krista.
I
That
do
went
not
over my
understand.
Oh, so we're going from xenophobia to homophobia now. Grandma wants to be
30 minutes.
homophobic.
How is that fucking homophobic? I'm sitting here.
You don't know the slang because you don't want to know it.
Yeah.
listening to all of this top bottom shit, wormholes, the whole fucking shit. How am I homophobic if I do not understand your fucking slang?
Matt,
my-
You win.
All y'all,
You win with
Wow.
You win
motherfucker.
with
Wow.
My-
Just gotta
You're being
end this
very
end the salon.
defensive.
My favorite.
Honey.
The white
Honey.
lady is so
honey,
mad she's being exposed to
honey.
a different culture.
My favorite Krista meltdown
Honey.
ever was when she announced that she spent several episodes with Urban Dictionary open while she was talking to us because she didn't know what the fuck we were saying.
What are you talking about? Oh my God.
I don't know the references. You know what? I'm fine with it. I've got apps on my phone. I don't even know what they're for, and I'm all right with it.
She's on Grinder. Are you on Grinder?
You're
I
just
don't
asking
even know
questions.
what it is. It sounds like an STD. It sounds a little bit like a petri dish.
Well, you're not
I need
wrong.
you- I need
Not
you to
wrong.
look up that Family Guy episode where she's just like, all right, I guess I'm not woke. You win with your gay shit. That's
Yes.
exactly. That's
Oh,
where we
yeah.
are right now.
Because that's what you want to win.
That's what you want to win, right?
I'm just
Isn't
saying,
it?
I don't
With your
stand
gay
for
stuff.
your sexuality, you asshole.
Oh.
Oh, I rarely have control here. And tonight especially.
It's
But
all.
delightful.
It's all.
Matt,
a
final
good
thoughts
deal.
on this episode.
A+ Carol Freeman, great, fun, romping, absolutely chaotic. I don't know what happened, but I really enjoyed not seeing our main cast. So that was a fun little change. So great.
Trevor, your final thoughts.
It was delightful. That's all I got.
End of final thoughts. Well, y'all, we're coming to the end of it. Again, we've got a website. Please subscribe, like us in all the places at Salon Trek. We're on YouTube. We're on Blue Sky. Please like and share, comment on our videos. It helps the algorithm figure out that we should have this nonsense in front of other people's eyes too. We officially hit 130 subscribers on YouTube. So if we could get to 132 by next week, I will pretend to be happy about it. I want more, please. Begging. No, just kidding. But thank you all so much. Chat lively as always. Thank you all so much. And until next week, please live long and prosper.
Hello.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I am so sorry, Trevor. Nobody go anywhere.
The fuck?
Nobody go. Don't you dare leave. None of you.
No, see, the explanation here is, remember, you've been channeling Ken too much tonight, so we forgot you were there.
That was an
What?
attempt at a save, and it failed miserably.
That
and
was
I'm taking away your bonus-
awful.
Now I'm taking away your bonus points.
Okay.
Ooh. Well, what a lovely episode tonight. Trevor, how about
What?
those tallies?
What do you want now?
Oh my God.
He's going to be so mad at me forever now. He's going to bring this up for years.
I'm gonna mean text later. I gave. Oh no, I didn't give shit. There were 2 problematic gay alerts. There was 1 problematic ally alert. Sorry, Krista. There were two Ken alerts. There were 2 Ken while actually whoopsie, and 2 explosive saucer separations. I gave 100 bonus points to JP Camera Guy for being first for the first time. Saw your comment in the chat. I gave 69 bonus points to Matt for excessive detox, or was it? I gave 100,000 bonus points to Krista for accidentally dragging Matt. I gave 25 bonus points to Ken in absentia for me accidentally triggering his alerts. 1,000,000 bonus points to Benji for being Canadian. 500 bonus points to Rachel for lunar recollections in our moment of need. And last but not least, 740 bonus points to Will for oddly specific Taco Bell references, 740 being the exact number of calories in a Nachos Bel Grande. I'm done.
Excellent. I can't believe I almost made us miss that. I'm so sorry. This has been delightful. Again,
You will pay.
I will pay. I will. I mean, this is what happens when you never give me bonus points or you take them away.
You have a rolling total of 1.
I know. I had 500 at one point.
Yeah, but then I took $4.99. Just roll with it.
And I'm bitter about that.
Mhm.
Like tonight's episode with lots of guest stars. We had lots of guests in the chat. We love to see it. Thank you to Dave for subscribing. Thank you all for joining us, being so lively. Again, best part of my week. I love this so much. I love you all. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. And until next week, please live long and prosper and don't deny insurance claims.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone immediately.
Sorry, I had that